Okay, so you have to understand every financial statement, element of financial statements in financial reporting actually provide a very broad use of information. Yeah, don't only see it in one element of that statement. Let's say, for example, just now income statement, you only focus on the profit and loss. Yeah, but actually it provides us with a very broad information. Yeah, a wide information can be derived from income statement. Yeah, because from income statement we can evaluate the past performance of the company. Yeah, and also based on that information we can predict the future performance. Yeah? Let's say we do the several years comparison of income statement. Yeah, we see the nature and the trend of their expenses. We see the nature and the trend of their sales, and at the end the profit or loss. Then we can understand how they did, how they perform in the past. Yeah, whether they would do better in the future or not. Yeah? Okay, and also by that information we can evaluate any uncertainty or the risk of the company in getting the future cash flows. Okay. But again, every financial statement that we prepare as accountants, yeah, are subject to certain limitations. Yeah. For example, in income statement, we cannot measure everything. We cannot include everything in the income statement, because remember the principle, some accounting principle that we learned last week, monetary valuation. Yeah, only the items that we can measure by monetary form, only those items will be included in the financial statements. Yeah, but certain aspects of the company that cannot be measured reliably, for example, the brand value, yeah, or human resource asset. Okay, for example, Amirul is a very smart employee at the company. Yeah, he can do works very fast. You know, he has a very good network with everyone. Yeah. So basically, the company has such valuable asset in Amirul. Yeah, Amirul is very good human resource asset, but the company cannot really measure how much that human resource asset value is. So it's not included in the financial statements. Yeah, and also the income numbers are affected by the accounting methods employed. Yeah, remember, in income statement, we have several items that are dependent on the accounting methods that the company is adopting. For example, depreciation. Yeah, depreciation might be one company using straight line, the other company using declining balance. It will result into different amount. Okay, so the income, the bottom line figure, will be depend or affected by which accounting method is selected by the company. Okay? And again, it also involves judgment. Remember, especially when we use the fair value measurement. If you still recall, I hope you still recall, we discussed about fair value measurement. It involves subjective judgment or assessment by the accountants or the team of assessor. Yeah, so that estimated figure will affect the bottom line figure of the company. Yeah, the income or the profit or loss of the company. Okay, so the profit or loss, despite it provide useful information. Yeah, so what I'm saying is the income statement provide the useful information, but we must always be cautious of the limitations that also it has, yeah, from the figures in the income statement. Okay. Okay, we refer to earning or profit, yeah, in the income statement. It must be having the quality of earnings, you know. And the companies normally, they have the strategy to manage their earnings. Okay, that's what we call as the term of earnings management. Okay? Earnings management, basically how the company plan the timing of revenues, expenses, gains and losses to smooth out the earnings. How do you understand to smooth out the earnings? Anyone? To smooth out, you don't want, like, you know, the company's profit or loss from year to year is like very cyclical. Yeah, the amount is fluctuating very extremely. Okay, so you want to show it like smooth out, a bit stable over the time. Yeah, so that would give the confidence to the investors, yeah, over the performance of your company. That's why the companies normally do earnings management to smooth out. So smooth out is to stabilize, yeah, to stabilize the earnings figures over the year, yeah. But earnings management, which is too extreme, will result in the less quality of earnings. When we say quality of earning, it refers to whether that earning is reflecting wholly or fully the actual operational activities of the company. If it is managed too extremely, terlalu di-manage earningnya, it doesn't anymore reflect the faithful representation of the company's operation. Okay. Okay, there is a debate on earnings management, whether it is allowed or not. But basically, it's commonly practiced that the company will try to stabilize their earnings figure. Okay, as long as within the acceptable accounting principles, it is allowed for the company to do so. Yeah, but not to manipulate the figures. Yeah. Okay. Okay, now we see the elements of the income statement. I'm very sure that you're very familiar already with the elements of the income statement. We have income, yeah, which is the increases in economic benefits, yeah, as opposed to expenses, the decreases in economic benefits. So the income doesn't only mean the cash flow coming in, but it can be in the form of enhancements of assets, okay, or decrease of liability. Okay, that result in increase in equity other than those related to contributions from shareholders. Yeah, if it is contribution from shareholders, we don't include it in the income, right? Any capital injection, it will go to equity. Yeah. So income, any increases in economic benefits, but not related to the one coming from the shareholders. Yeah. It can be gain on sale of asset. Yeah. Can be from the sales revenue. So there is income, operational income. There is income from non-operational activities. Yeah. Okay. So referring to that, we differentiate two terms. Yeah, there is the revenues, there is gain. So revenue is from the main operational activities, yeah, the ordinary activities of the company. Let's say that company is selling laptops, selling electronic items. So revenues coming from any activities of selling the electronic items. The gain may or may not arise from ordinary activities. Yeah. For example, that electronic company is selling its shop. Yeah. So the gain coming from selling the shop must be called as the gain, not the revenue. Yeah, because it doesn't come from the ordinary activities of the company. Yeah. So for example, revenue accounts may come from the sales, yeah, fee, interest, dividend, rent, yeah. And the gain may come from sales of long assets or unrealized gain on trading securities. Okay, the company, this is may new for you, this term, trading securities. Is it? You may not be familiar with this term, trading securities. The company may invest, okay? They invest in shares. They invest in, what do you call that one? Obligation? Bond, yeah? Bond or debentures, okay? So those are called as securities, okay? That investment securities, yeah? Investasi pada saham, pada obligasi, okay? So that investment can be classified as trading, available for sale, yeah? Trading ini maksudnya, trading means it is intended for daily or continuous trading activities, okay? It's not meant to be kept until maturity date. Let's say, for example, the company buys the bond, obligasi. The maturity date is 1 year. Yeah? But the company is not intending to keep that bond investment until maturity date of 1 year, but it intends to trade it, yeah? Didagangkan, yeah? From time to time. Okay? So that trading securities, same for shares, saham. The company may buy shares and the purpose is for trading it. Yeah? Kayak orang dagang di bursa efek. Yeah? So it's for the purpose of trading. So that trading securities, normally if we follow the IFRS, we have to measure it based on fair value. Because we measure based on fair value, there would be gain or loss, yeah, on the difference of adjustment to the fair value. I hope you are getting some understanding, even though not yet deep. Yeah, we will discuss this later in further topics, yeah, about the investment securities. Yeah. Okay, the opposite of income is expenses. Yeah. So that one is decrease in economic benefits. It could be in the form of the reduction in the value of assets, like depreciation expense, yeah, or liabilities, okay? Like salary payable, salary expenses, yeah, and etc. Yeah, and again, remember, it doesn't related to anything paid to the shareholders, okay, or anything of distribution to shareholders. Okay, like income, it consists of revenue and gain. Expenses comprise of expenses and losses. Yeah. So expenses from ordinary activities, loss from may or may not arise from ordinary activities. Yeah. Very familiar expenses accounts for you are cost of goods sold, depreciation, interest, etc. Yeah? And loss account, it can be loss on the sale of long-term asset and unrealized loss on trading securities. Opposite from unrealized gain on trading securities. Yeah. Can you get the idea on the unrealized loss and unrealized gain? Somehow? Okay, imagine you are buying the shares, yeah, at the end of the month. When you buy it, your share value is 100,000, yeah? And then at the end of the month, the market value of the shares has increased to 150,000, okay? So the difference, that 50,000 is unrealized gain or loss? We buy 100,000 and the market value is 150. So there is a gain there.
Gain.
Yes, there is a gain. We call it unrealized because we haven't sold that shares. Jadi belum direalisasi. Okay? But we need to record that. So we record that as a realized gain. Okay? And oppositely, if suddenly our shares value or market value drops to 50,000 at the end of the month, kita masih pegang saham itu. We still hold those shares. Okay? So actually, we incur the loss, but the loss is unrealized because we haven't sold the shares. Boleh paham? Boleh ya? Okay. Okay, now moving to income statement intermediate components. Yeah. So companies may present some or all of these items and the totals within their income statement. And I remember you learned already about the two forms of income statement in the past, the multiple step income statement and the single step income statement. The multiple step is the detailed income statement, whereby the single step is the condensed, we call it sometimes the condensed financial statement. Yeah? They just show the subtotal figures of the major items of the income. This is multiple step income statements. Yeah, they show every details of the item and the sub items of in the income statement. Okay. Okay, check your company's financial statement. Any item that you don't understand. Because this is definitely extended version of the income statement that you have ever seen in your previous subject, right? I'm very sure previously you don't have, what you don't have, earnings per share, maybe you haven't come across of earning per share previously, yeah? Does your company has this? It must, yeah? It must, yeah? And normally they portray earnings per share plus dilutive earnings per share. Yeah? You don't need to really understand about the dilutive, but earning per share basically is the profit of the company divided by the number of ordinary shares. Okay, so that what people always call EPS. EPS. What is EPS? Earnings per share. Yeah? Okay, non-controlling interest, normally the other term is minority interest. Okay, minority interest is the small number of shares owned by other shareholders. Yeah, and this is the shareholders are the majority shareholders of the company. Okay. Interest on bonds and notes. Yeah, notes, it could be notes receivable. Yeah, this is bonds investment. Okay. If it is okay, they don't have expense on the interest here. Do they have? Oh yeah, income tax and then. Oh, sorry, this is interest on bonds and notes. This is notes payable because the company is paying the interest. Yeah, so income from operation minus the interest on bonds and notes. So in this case, the company is the one issuing the bond. Ya, bukan dia yang investasi ke bond, tapi dia yang mengeluarkan obligasi ya, yang dibeli oleh outsider. Okay. Okay, this is a single step income statement or condensed income statement. Condensed itu di compress ya, it's like compress ya. Okay. So they just show the major items and the explanation to, for example, selling expenses here, they would put in the notes to the financial statement. So they don't show all the details in the income statement. Yeah? Okay, very much understood about the gross profit. Yeah. Why it provides useful number of evaluating performance and predicting future earnings. Yeah. Because the gross profit is the first indication of how successful the company is. Yeah. If they have a large enough amount of gross profit, it would be able to provide the amount of bottom line figure for the company. Yeah. Ini kalau gross profit is already small, and then they would have expenses after that to deduct, then most possibly the company will incur the loss. Yeah. Okay. Previously, maybe you have already came across the term of income from operations. It shows in the previous display of income statement. So basically, income operation summarized after all deduction of the expenses of the company. Yeah. So how much the main operation of the company can contribute to the profits of the company. Yeah. Because the company also has other income. Yeah. Income from non-operational activities. Yeah. So to identify whether the company is doing well or not, the income of operation must be bigger than the income from non-operational activities. Yeah. Otherwise, what's the purpose of the company doing their operation of selling or other things? Yeah. Okay, how do we classify the expense? Depends on the nature and the function. Yeah. The nature means, let's say, for the cost of materials used, direct labor. If it is manufacturing company, yeah, they have to calculate the product cost. So it depends on the cost of materials, direct labor, yeah. And then there's delivery expense, advertising expense, ya. Jadi pembagiannya itu berdasarkan nature. Nature-nya itu adalah untuk material atau untuk gaji, ya. So we divide based on the nature. But also it can be classified based on the function, ya. So function, it can be classified by cost of goods sold, whether it is selling expenses and administrative expenses. So specific expenses, where does it play the role? Yeah? If it is product cost, the function is it contributes to the cost of goods sold. Yeah? So that's why the classification based on function is divided into cost of goods sold, selling expenses, and administrative expenses. Okay. Okay, this is nature. Yeah, if nature, it will be more detailed. This is function. Okay, this is unusual items, reported on income statement of 500 large companies. Yeah, unusual items, mostly the gain or losses. For example, this is restructuring charges. Yeah, the company is doing restructuring to their subsidiaries, for example, or to their products diversification. Yeah. And write down or gain or losses on asset sales. Yeah, so this are unusual item. Yeah, not the normal expenses that we discussed just now. Yeah. Okay, so IFRS, which is issued by ASB, regulates that revenue expenses and other income expenses should be reported as part of income from operations. Yeah. And additional items like losses on write-down of inventories to net realizable value, or property, plant, and equipment to recoverable amount. Yeah, that one needs to be disclosed additionally in the notes to the financial statement. Yeah. Did you ever learn about the net realizable value? We did, right? Net realizable value for inventories, let's say during this COVID-19 pandemic, our inventories cannot make sales anymore, so the value has dropped. So we want to adjust the cost of inventories. So adjustment, the cost of inventories to the amount that we assume that can be sold is called as the net realizable value. Yeah? Even though the cost of inventories, let's say, is 1 million, but due to the pandemic and other economic factors, the inventories can only be sold to 500,000, for example. So we need to adjust our cost of inventory to the net realizable value. So that loss has to be disclosed separately. Yeah, and losses on restructuring also. Litigation settlement. Yeah, litigation settlements refers to any lawsuits that the company is facing. Yeah, kasus-kasus di mahkamah. Yeah. For example, petroleum company like Pertamina may face the litigation settlement with some people in near the coastal areas. Yeah. Karena ada pencemaran mungkin ya, jadi dituntut oleh masyarakat, etc. So that one has to be disclosed in the notes to the financial statement. Ya, the litigation settlement. Okay, income before income tax. Yeah, so the company has to calculate the income tax which will be paid to the government later on. So there is income before income tax, and then calculate the income tax, and we get the net income. Yeah. So the net income represents the income after all revenues, expenses for the period. Yeah. Okay, so earnings per share, as I mentioned just now, is the net income divided by number of ordinary shares of the company. Yeah. Outstanding ordinary shares. Yeah? Net income, we have to deduct with preference shares dividends. Yeah? In intermediate accounting 2, you will learn specifically about earnings per share. But shortly, why we deduct the preferred dividends from the calculation of earnings per share? Because preference dividends are okay, by the way, shares can be classified as ordinary shares and preference shares. Yeah? Preference shares, normally they have the fixed dividend amount, yeah, being distributed to those shareholders. Yeah? Jadi syarat-syarat untuk preference shares dengan ordinary shares is different. Ordinary shares is common shareholders, biasanya kita panggil. Yeah? Preference shares, they have specific terms and conditions. Preference shares, they don't have voting rights. Yeah? They are like the creditors. Jadi dia ada pembayaran dividen yang regular. Ya? Kalau ordinary shares ini memiliki voting right. Dan dia tidak ada dijanjikan jumlah dividen tertentu. Okay? So ordinary shares, pemilik saham biasa or umum ini, ordinary shares or common shares, their dividend would depend on the net income of the company. Yeah? There is no fixed amount for them. So that's why we need to identify the earnings per share only considering the ordinary shares. Ya, makanya kita exclude semuanya preference dividend, the preference shareholders. Okay. Okay, this is a very important figure in the business world. People always will check the EPS figure of the company because it reflects how much from the operation of the company they can distribute the income to the investors or the shareholders. Okay, the higher, the better. Okay, do we need to go through this? Not really, right? You just take the net income minus the preferred dividends, yeah, and then divide by weighted average of ordinary shares outstanding, yeah. You will learn later how to calculate the weighted average of ordinary shareholders shares outstanding, okay? Because saham itu kan dibeli pada tanggal yang berbeda, okay? So kita perlu merata-ratakan for different dates of shares being purchased by the investors. Makanya dipanggil weighted average of ordinary shares outstanding. Okay, just understand at this moment that it needs to be weighted. Ya, perlu dirata-ratakan number of ordinary shares because in distributing the dividend, the company will decide until which date, sampai tanggal berapa pemegang saham itu yang layak untuk mendapatkan dividen. Okay, so let's say Tasya membeli saham pada tanggal 1 Oktober dan ternyata perusahaan mengumumkan untuk periode pembagian dividen sampai tanggal 30 September. So anyone bought the shares on 1st October just now will not be entitled for the dividend. Okay, there will be specific calculation how to calculate the weighted average. Yeah? Okay, so that is the earnings figure, earnings per share figure. Okay. Okay, the other item that you need to understand is discontinued operations. Yeah. So discontinued operation, it could be a branch, yeah, subsidiary, specific product line of the company or department that has been disposed of or classified as held for sale. Yeah. For example, yeah, let's say a company has 3 product lines, yeah, and product C, they are not longer interested to operationalize that product C. Yeah, they want to sell it. Yeah, so it becomes idle, that product C. Yeah, that product C department becomes held for sale. So we classify that as discontinued operations. Boleh ngerti? Okay. Okay, discontinued operation represent a major line of business, yeah, or geographical area. Yeah. For example, the Indofood has a branch in Timor-Leste and they want to close it down. Yeah. So they intend to sell that operation in Timor-Leste. So that operation becomes the discontinued operations. Yeah. And we have to identify whether there is income or loss from discontinued operation. Okay. Or it can be also the subsidiary which the company acquire or purchase with the intention to resell it. Okay. They purchase a new subsidiary, but they don't want to operationalize that subsidiary. They only want to resell it, wait for the good price. Okay. So that also include in discontinued operation. I know this is the new item for you. Because and the company report that in a separate income statement category. If you still remember the structure of multiple step income statement just now, there would be a specific item on gain or loss from discontinued operations. Yeah, it's not mixed with other types of expenses or income. Yeah. For example, yeah, discontinued operations of the company, they have loss net of tax. Yeah, it must be net of tax. And then loss on disposal as well. So they would report total loss on discontinued operation, yeah, and it would reduce the net income of the company. Okay, why not someone try to share your financial statement? Is there anything unique that you identify from your financial statement? Particularly the income statement. Musliadi? Which one is Musliadi?
Yes, Miss.
Yeah, okay. Show your income statement.
Wait, Miss. It's on my phone, Miss.
It's on your phone.
Yeah, it's on my phone, not on my laptop. So I need to move it first.
Astri, where is Astri?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, share your income statement. You want to see it. Whether you already understand the structure of income statement.
I'm using the phone, Miss, so I cannot download to my phone and cannot to share screen, I think, Miss.
Okay, what unique item that you find on the income statement? What company do you select?
I select to Bank Mandiri, Miss. It can, right, Miss?
Okay, Bank Mandiri.
Yes.
Financial companies are quite unique, yeah, from the typical manufacturing or merchandising types of business. Yeah? So yeah, okay. Then you can identify the difference in how the financial company disclose their income statement because they don't have gross profit for sure. No cost of goods sold, right?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, why don't you explain how the structure of their income statement?
I have already to see it, and maybe
Is it possible to show your video? Belum kenal, which one is us?
wait a minute, Miss. I think I use better to change the laptop or not, Miss, or still to be this.
You also use the laptop?
No, I think I want to change to laptop or not, Miss, because if I to show my face, I have to difficult to read the financial in the Google because I still see in the Google, Miss.
Oh, okay. Okay, anyway, convenience for you.
Or I have to, maybe later on I will show my face, Miss, because it's a little
Okay.
bit difficult.
Okay.
I wanna maybe this I have to see in the bahasa, Miss, the financial statement.
But they must have two languages, right? Bilingual.
Oh.
Right? Okay, whose company that you select? I believe all the listed companies, they have bilingual, yeah, side by side, English and
yes.
Indonesian.
Oh yeah, Miss, I don't see before.
If it is listed company, pasti ada dua bahasa. Just explain how the structure.
Maybe this is interest income, Sharia and premiums net. They have to Sharia and premiums net because Mandiri have Sharia bank in other side.
What about at the upper side. What do they call it? Revenue? Revenue coming from where?
This profit and loss, interest income, and Sharia net, premium income net, operational income and expenses.
That's all?
There's other operating income, established of allowance for impairment losses, and then provision for estimated losses on commitments and contingencies, contingent kayak gitu, I think.
Do they have any gain or loss from this continued operation?
Unrealized gain, I think, is loss from the increase and this decrease in the fair value of the policyholder investment in the unit link contract.
Okay, so that one is unrealized gain or loss from the securities, yeah? The one
Yes.
we discussed just now. Okay. Who wants to share on the screen? Mutia Rifka? Mutia, can you share the screen? Are you using laptop?
No, Miss. I use a phone.
Phone?
Yes, Miss.
Amirul. Amirul, what company do you select?
Zoom, Miss.
Zoom, yeah, interesting. Okay, just anything peculiar? Have you ever known the word peculiar? Unik, yeah, peculiar. Here. Well, this is, yeah.
Jaga Iyo di kamar.
Sorry. Mama ngajar dulu ya. Ya. Okay, they have the single, a bit condensed income statement, yeah. But do they have notes to the financial statement for this? No, yeah, they don't have the notes. Okay, back to the income statement. Because they are service company, right, Amirul? That's why it's quite simple, right? They don't have cost of goods sold. Sorry, my son is accompanying me. But there is a unique expense here. Can you identify research and development? Yeah. So not all companies have R&D expenses, yeah. And this R&D, some portion of R&D can be included in the expenses, but certain portion of research and development is supposed to be capitalized. What it means by capitalized, it is included in as an asset, yeah, rather than expenses. Yeah. Anything that raised the question, Amirul, here?
Maybe the undistributed earning attributable to participating securities.
Okay, undistributed earnings attributable to participating securities, a portion of income that has not yet been distributed to the shareholders, or not to the shareholders. The participating securities is, let's say, we issue the bond or we have the shares, and we have to pay the return for them, yeah, in the form of interest or in the form of what do we call that? Dividend, So that one is not yet distributed. So we call it as undistributed earnings attributable to participating securities, yeah? Which has to be distributed later on, yeah? To any security holder, yeah? Whether the bond holder or the shareholders, yeah? The shareholders particularly are preference shareholders, yeah? Because the common stockholders, we never promise to pay dividend to the common stockholders or the ordinary stockholders, yeah? That's why the common stockholders are very interested in the EPS figures, yeah? And for your knowledge, the EPS will influence the market shares, the market value of the shares being traded at the stock exchange, ya. Jadi nilai EPS itu berpengaruh terhadap nilai dagang saham pada bursa efek. Ya. Okay, thank you, Amirul. Tasha, you want to share what company did you select? Tasha Rianda.
Miss, I select a telecom company. I'm not sure it have English version, Miss.
Sure.
Because in the web, I try to download it. There's no, Miss.
Telkomsel.
Yeah, Telkom Indonesia.
Yeah, suppose I think listed company they have not English version, ya. Memang financial statementnya itu bilingual, dua bahasa. Enggak juga.
No,
Try show it to us. Which period that you downloaded?
2020 and 2021, Miss.
2020, 2021. 2021 is interim, ya.
But it's already in the
Web.
yes.
Try show it to us.
This one, Miss?
Okay. Yeah. It doesn't have English version. Actually, I'm not really sure whether it is compulsory to disclose in 2 languages. Maybe, yeah. Foreign-owned companies which are mandated to disclose in bilingual. It's not compulsory for local incorporated companies, yeah, maybe, yeah. But you need to check again, yeah. I assume that way, yeah. Jadi kalau perusahaan yang ada foreign incorporated, yeah, for example, Samsung in Indonesia but incorporated from overseas, they have to disclose in bilingual. Or maybe it is optional, yeah. Maybe it is optional to disclose in 2 languages, yeah. Okay, so this is a very detailed income statement, but despite that they show a detailed income statement, they also have the notes, yeah, to almost each items, if you can identify here, catatan, yeah. So they have further explanation in the notes to the financial statement, yeah. Do you get headache when you see the real income statement of the company? Lumayan, ya. Okay, so the nature of expenses, yeah, see, it will vary, depends on the nature of the businesses itself. Ya, misalnya ini tadi beban interkoneksi. Ya, this is the unique expense for this type of company. For other type of company, it wouldn't have the beban interkoneksi, right? And then what else unique, Tasha? Perubahan bersih nilai wajar aset keuangan tersedia untuk dijual. Try to understand it in English. Tasha, what is perubahan bersih nilai wajar aset keuangan tersedia untuk dijual? This is net fair value, ya, net changes in fair value of available for sale securities. Ya, jadi sekuritas itu aset keuangan or financial instrument sometimes called. Ada namanya held for trading, yang tadi itu trading securities. Ada yang tersedia untuk dijual. Jadi ada 3 klasifikasi, ya. Ada held to maturity, ada available for sale, ada held for trading, ya. And accounting treatment will be differently for different types of financial instrument or securities. Yeah. Okay, a bit weird, yeah, when we see Indonesian term kepentingan non pengendali. Yeah, that one is non-controlling interest or minority interest. Okay. You have to, it's good that you also explore the financial statement in Indonesian language so that you can get familiarized. Yeah? Okay. Okay, laba per saham dasar adalah basic EPS, ya, basic earning per share. Ya. Ada diluted. How do they translate diluted? Go down a little bit, Tasha. The diluted EPS. Oh, laba bersih. Here. They don't have diluted, eh? They have only basic EPS. Eh? Okay. Thank you, Tasha. Okay, let's look further. So basically, in this subject, you are going deeper, yeah, in understanding the income statement. Yeah? In the past, you only prepare the basic income statement. Yeah? Now it has so many items within the income statement. Yeah? Okay, and there is also the intra-period tax allocation, yeah, which is the income tax expense to the specific items that give rise to the amount of tax provision. Okay, so income tax, we allocate, we differentiate between income from continuing operations and discontinued operation. Okay, so tax follow the income, which means that for different types of income, we have to calculate specific tax. Yeah? That's why the discontinued operation, it must be net of tax figure. Yeah? See here? They calculate differently the income tax for income from operation and applicable income tax for discontinued operations. Yeah? And the company also may disclose on the income statement loss on discontinued operation, net of tax, yeah, and the tax will be the tax calculation will be provided in the note. Yeah, they don't disclose it on the income statement. Yeah? This is allocation to non-controlling interests. So when the company prepares consolidated income statements, yeah, consolidated is combined income statement between the subsidiary and the parent. Okay. So the IFRS requests that net income be allocated to the controlling and non-controlling interest. Yeah. Non-controlling interest is less than 30% or less than 50%. And this allocation is reported at the bottom of the income statement after net income. Yeah. Okay. This is the normal calculation. You just take the revenues and then how do we calculate the financing cost? Which one is financing cost? Okay, and then income tax. Okay. Let's go through the summary. I won't repeat anymore, but any specific item that you want to raise a question?
Miss,
Yes.
I just want to ask what is non-current provision, Miss?
Non-current provision. Where is it?
Not in this, but in my selected company statement, Miss.
Okay. Try to share it because different company, they use different terms. And honestly, I don't master all the terms, you know. Nanti Islamic Bank, they have different items unique to their operation. Let's look at your income statement. Mutia, ya?
This.
Okay, provisi jangka panjang. This is income statement.
Of XL Axiata, Miss.
Huh? No, this is the income statement.
I kind
I
of
think it is
confused.
balance statement of financial position.
Yeah, I actually kind of confused where to search the income statement, Miss.
Income statement must be before the statement of financial position. If you talk about non-current provision just now, it must be on the liability side, right?
Yes, Miss.
Right? On the liability side.
Yes, Miss. Current provision.
Yeah. There must be some allocation, yeah, for maybe certain liability. This is airline company, ya, Mutia?
XL, Miss.
Oh,
XL
XL.
Asia. Yeah.
XL Asia. Kenapa ada provisi biaya pengembalian dan pemeliharaan pesawat jangka panjang? For aircraft return and maintenance funds. So maybe you read the company profile again. Dia mungkin ada subsidiary, mungkin perusahaan pesawat logistik misalnya, ya? Not the commercial airplane, tapi mungkin ada perusahaan yang pesawat khusus untuk pengangkutan barang, ya. So that's why they have this non-current provision for aircraft return and maintenance fund. Okay, what I can understand here, the company may provide some allocation for liabilities. Ya. Ini kayak warranty, guarantee, ya. So that one is provisi, ya, yang mereka sediakan, ya, sebagai berjaga-jaga. Okay. for the future claim from the customers. Yeah. So I assume that could similar to this provision. Yeah, provision for long term and provision for short term. Yeah, it's similar to warranty or guarantee for the customers. Okay. Okay. Can you show the income statement, Mutia? Nggak dapat.
I cannot find. First, I search it.
After this, try
Okay.
to go below.
Ini Miss, statement or profit or loss.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Because no, yeah, in the late years we have the item called as comprehensive income. Yeah, so sometimes it's mixed into statement of comprehensive income. Ya, kita akan lihat. We will see sebentar lagi what is comprehensive income, what is other comprehensive income. Nah, ini is a bit unique the way it presents the information. It's very detailed, basically. Yeah, so each type of expenses they portray it in this statement. They combine all the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. Sampai ke bawah, Mutia, try. Yeah, so this is the profit or loss, and they have the earning per share here. Yeah. Comprehensive income attributable to parent entity and comprehensive income attributable to non-controlling interest. Yeah. Okay, interesting, right? It has a different format of income statement between different company. Ini perusahaan apa, Mutia?
XL Axiata, Miss.
XL Axiata. XL Axiata Indonesian Incorporated or Singapore? Eh?
I don't know.
You have to read then. I want you to master your company, ya. Assuming this is your company, ya. Baca profilnya, ya. I know that you only download the financial statement, tapi normally in the pergi ke paling atas, Mutia. Normally they would explain the nature of the operation of the company, and then the accounting policies that they use. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, they have infrastructure, they have transportation. That's why they have aircraft tadi ya. Karena ada transportation juga di dalam segmentasi perusahaannya ya. They have different segment ya. Yeah, foreign owned ya. You see here, pemegang saham pengendali, the controlling shareholders, foreign corporation. I think it's Singapore, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, foreign company. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mutia.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss.
Okay. Okay, I want to emphasize on this financing cost. Yeah, maybe you're not that familiar. We call it interest expense as financing cost. Ya, misalnya perusahaan mengeluarkan obligasi untuk mendapatkan modal tambahan, ya, dan mengeluarkan mengeluarkan obligasi ya from the long term debt. Ya. Jadi kita, sebagai pengeluar obligasi kita akan membayar bunga kepada orang-orang yang membeli obligasi dari perusahaan kita. Do you understand that? That bunga, that interest, we term it as a financing cost. Ya. Karena dia menjadi sebagai beban di dalam pendanaan perusahaan kita. Okay, that's why interest expense is called as financing cost. Yeah, it's not part of the operating cost. Okay, discontinued we discussed, not controlling interest, yes. Okay, let's look at briefly what are the issues involving the income statement items. Yeah. Among others is on the changes in accounting principle. Yeah. If the company suddenly changed their accounting principle, then they must have to do the retrospective adjustment. What does it mean, retrospective adjustment? They have to adjust the previous year's income statement figures, yeah, the profit or loss figures, by showing the cumulative effect adjustment to the beginning retained earning. For example, previous years, the company used FIFO inventory method. Masih ingat inventory cost flow method? First in, first out, last in, first out, average cost. Yeah. For example, in the year 2019, the company used FIFO, and suddenly year 2020 they changed it to average cost. Yeah. So the change from the percentage of completion to the completed contract method. Yeah. For example, for construction company. Yeah. Construction company, maybe previous years they use percentage of completion. Yeah. Now they use completed contract method. Yeah. So they have to do the adjustment to the retained earning figure. Yeah. For example, here, the excess of FIFO over weighted wage average method, 8,000. So we would adjust the net income figures. Misalnya, for example, this is in March 2019, they want to change from FIFO to weighted average. Yeah. And they would adjust their income before income tax figures, yeah, which will change the net income figures. That's what it meant by retrospective adjustment. Yeah. So previous year's figures need to be adjusted. Yeah. And the cumulative adjustment to the retained earning in the beginning of current period needs to be shown and adjusted accordingly. Yeah. Okay, that one change in accounting principle. Yeah. Now change in accounting estimate. Yeah. For change in accounting estimate, there is no need for retrospective adjustment. For example, we are changing the number of useful life of the asset. Yeah. For example, machinery. Previously, we estimate that the machinery's useful life will be 10 years. And suddenly, in this current year, we want to change it to 15 years, for example. Yeah. So that change in estimate, we do not need to do the adjustment for previous year's figures. Yeah. The change will only affect the current and future periods. Okay. Okay, this example of the change in useful life of the asset. This company purchased equipment for 510,000. Estimated useful life at the beginning was 10 years. Residual value is 10,000. Depreciation has been recorded for 7 years. Yeah. Suddenly in the year 8, the company estimate that total useful life should be 15 years with a residual value of 5,000. Ya. Jadi ada perubahan di dalam estimasi residual value and useful life of that asset, ya, due to several factors, ya, economic, ya, and maybe the function of that asset, ya. So the company feels that there is need of adjustment. Ya. Does prior year's depreciation need to be restated? Does it need to be restated? Nggak ngerti. It doesn't need to be restated. Remember, change in accounting estimate, we do not need to do adjustment for previous years. Yeah, we only adjust for the current year. Yeah. So to calculate the new depreciation expense for the current year, we take the full equipment cost and then minus the original useful life, which is 10,000 residual value. Sorry. So the depreciable base 500,000. We divide with the original, yeah, the first estimated useful life, which is 10 years. And we get the annual depreciation 50,000, we times with 7 years because it has been depreciated for 7 years. Yeah. And 350,000, the accumulated depreciation, which has been depreciated for 7 years, we minus with the cost of that equipment, 510,000, then we can get the net book value for the current year. Yeah. So the current year calculation of depreciation, we take the net book value just now, and we deduct with the new estimated residual value, which is 5,000. And we get the depreciable base of 155,000. And the new estimated useful life, yeah, which is 8 years. Yeah. Okay, remember again, pada awalnya dia diestimasi 10 tahun ya, useful life-nya, dan sudah 7 tahun berlalu. Jadi ada sisa 3 tahun seharusnya kan. Tapi pada tahun ke-8 perusahaan menganggarkan there will be total 15 years useful life. Ya. Jadi kalau sudah berlalu 7 tahun, kalau menurut estimasi baru 15 tahun, ada berapa tahun lagi untuk di-depreciate-kan? Ada 8 tahun. Okay, that's why we have a new useful life remaining is 8 years. Yeah, so the new annual depreciation expense will be 19,375. Yeah. We do not need to do any adjustment for the years before 2019. Yeah, it's only for the current and future years. Yeah. Okay, so change in accounting principle, we do the adjustment, which we call as retrospective adjustment. Change in accounting estimates, no need for retrospective adjustment. Now, what about the correction of errors? Yeah, which can come from the mathematical mistakes. Yeah? When we use the accounting principle, we may make the mistake, so it results in error. And we need to do the adjustment only to the beginning balance of retained earnings. Ya. Jadi kalau ada error di tahun sebelumnya, kita lakukan adjustment pada opening balance of retained earnings. Okay. So for example, the company has incorrectly overstated its account receivable and sales revenue by 100,000 in 2018. So kalau account receivable terlebih catat dan sales revenue terlebih catat, how do we do the adjustment to that, to correct that? Okay, when we recorded the sales revenue, when it happens last time, how do we record? We debit account receivable and we credit sales revenue, right? Jadi kalau dua-duanya sudah terlebih, misalnya seharusnya 50.000, kita sudah tulis 100.000. Debit account receivable 100.000, credit sales revenue 100.000. Seharusnya 50.000. Jadi untuk membetulkannya, how do we do the correcting entries? We twist it, right? Now we debit sales revenue or retained earnings because we do the adjustment in the current year. Kita tidak kembali ke masa lalu untuk melakukan penyesuaian, tapi kita lakukan penyesuaian only to the retained earnings of this year. So we debit the retained earning, is supposed to debit sales revenue, and we credit account receivable. Jadi keterbalikan entry ya. To reduce this overstatement ya, terlebih catat ya. Can you understand? Okay.
Yes, Miss.
Okay, if it is oppositely, yeah, we understate the account receivable and sales revenue. So we would debit account receivable and credit retained earning, ya, karena terkurang catat. Okay. Okay, summary again. So type of situation, if it is change in accounting principle, in criteria from generally accounting principle to another, yeah, the company may change from one accounting standard to another, for example, so it leads to the change of inventory cost flow method, for example, from FIFO to other method, yeah. Okay. Changes in accounting estimate and correction of errors, yeah. So many things to understand, right? Okay, retained earnings statement. Yeah. Statement of retained earning. Yeah. What caused the increase of retained earnings is the net income, right? The word retained earnings means the earning that is maintained. Yeah, it's not distributed to the shareholders. That's why it's called as retained earning. Ya. Dan retained earning itu bisa meningkat jumlahnya resulted from the net income. Ya, it could be also from the change in accounting principle, prior period adjustment. Just now, remember kita membetulkan error tadi bisa juga meningkatkan jumlah retained earning. Ya. And the decrease it result from the loss, dividends distribution, change in accounting principle, and also prior period adjustment. Yeah. Okay, this is an example of statement of retained earnings. Yeah. So when there is a distribution of dividend, it will reduce the retained earning. Yeah. Yeah, if there is any prior period adjustment like error correction just now, whether it is reducing or increasing the retained earning, yeah, it needs to be reflected in the statement of retained earning. Okay. Okay, now, there could be restriction on retained earnings. If there is restriction, then it needs to be disclosed in the notes to the financial statement. It is called as appropriated retained earnings. Yeah? What does it mean by restriction? Yeah? For example, the company is committed 50% of the company's earnings will be reserved for the payment of pension fund. Contohnya ya. Jadi sudah dialokasikan sebenarnya proporsi tertentu dari retained earning. So that's why we call it as appropriated retained earnings. Ya, sudah di-restrict ya. Jadi sebenarnya sebagian porsi dari retained earning itu tidak lagi bebas, ya. Sudah terikat dengan tujuan tertentu. Misalnya 10% dari retained earning akan digunakan untuk membayar penyelesaian kasus mahkamah, ya, for example, ya. But it's not yet done, ya. That's why it is disclosed in the notes to the financial statement. Yeah? So the users will not be misleading. Yeah? When they see maybe retained earning is very high, yeah? The amount is really high, but actually certain part of it is already appropriated. Yeah? Sudah ditujukan untuk tujuan tertentu. Yeah? Okay, what do we understand from the term comprehensive income? It's actually all changes in equity during a period that result, except those resulting from investment by owners and distribution to owners. So all changes in equity during a period, ya, yang tidak berkenaan dengan investasi oleh si pemilik dan juga distribusi, ya. So that is not related to the capital injected or any dividend given to the owner. So it includes all revenues, gains, expenses, and losses reported in net income. And also gain and losses that bypass net income but affect equity. Ya. Jadi contoh lain, ini net income, the amount resulted from income statement. This is part of comprehensive income, plus other comprehensive income like unrealized gain or losses on non-trading equity securities, translation gains and losses on foreign currencies and others. Because this unrealized gain and loss, we don't include it in the income statement for non-trading equity securities. Ya. Yang tadi, yang kalian ingat itu adalah unrealized gain and loss on trading. Ya. Ini yang non-trading. Oke, jadi kalau yang non-trading itu nggak masuk income statement. Dia langsung masuk ke equity. Karena rasionalnya, kalian harus ingat bahwa income statement ini menggambarkan kegiatan perusahaan yang utama, ya. Yang misalnya tadi trading kan memang terjadi perdagangan. Jadi kalau non-trading ini kan tidak, it's not daily operation. Ya. Non-trading artinya kan disimpan investasi tersebut, sekuritas tersebut sampai maturity date. So it's not really the daily operational activities. Yeah? That's why it doesn't go to the income statement. Yeah? And the same thing for translation gains and loss on foreign currency. If any transaction with foreign company, yeah, involving foreign exchange, so that goes to equity, it doesn't go to income statement. So that's what we call as other comprehensive income. Yeah. Okay. So why you find out different way the company display their income statement? Yeah, like Mutia just now show us, because there is an option for the company that they can display one statement approach. Yeah, they mix up everything like Mutia shown. Yeah, statement of comprehensive income, blah 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 blah. Or they can have two separate. Yeah, they have income statement and then they would have statement of comprehensive income. This is one statement approach. Yeah, they mix everything here. Statement of comprehensive income. It will include revenue until other comprehensive income also is included here. Yeah, so we get the total comprehensive income. This one is two statement approach. Ya, mereka prepare dulu income statement, baru ada statement comprehensive income yang menunjukkan berapa net income and other comprehensive income. Ya, there is a pro and cons and in using one statement approach or two statement approach. Yeah. Okay, a little bit very quickly on statement of changes in equity. You've been familiar, I think, with statement of changes in equity. Basically, anything affecting the capital of the shareholders. Yeah. So it consists of share capital ordinary. This is corporation. We talked about corporation type of entities. Share premium, retained earnings, and accumulated balances in other comprehensive income. Ingat tadi other comprehensive income kita masukkan ke equity, kita tidak masukkan ke income statement. Ya. Hope you are still absorbing. Okay, so the statement of changes in equity will report the changes in each equity account, yeah, and in total equity for the period. Yeah. So the basic items are accumulated other comprehensive income. If there is any contribution, means contribution, the new issuance of shares, distribution to the owners in the form of dividend, yeah. Any reconciliation of the carrying amount from the beginning to the end of the period, yeah. You can check your own financial statement. You would see a quite detailed statement of changes in equity, yeah. They would detail out how much the share capital, share premium, and then the retained earnings, etc. Yeah. Okay, so in the equity section of the statement of financial position, you would have accumulated other comprehensive income, yeah, which is coming from unrealized gain or loss on non-trading securities. Okay, I guess that's all. And it's Azan, right? Okay, so we finished that one topic. I need another class to replace the class that we missed before we have our midterm next week. Amirul, can you arrange additional class in the afternoon or at night? Also fine with me. Or subuh, maybe after subuh. Okay, Amirul.
Okay, Miss.
Okay. It can be in two options. Yeah, we have next week's class and we have midterm in other time after next week. Or you want to have additional class before next week's midterm. So next week we can have midterm. But we don't disturb the schedule of my team lecturer, Bapak Syed. Yeah? So the schedule will be still ongoing as in Simkuliah. Tapi kita dapatkan satu lagi slot untuk kuliah kita. Okay? Okay, it's Azan already. I hope you absorb as much as possible from our lecture just now. Thank you so much for your patience and participation. I'll see you again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Miss.
Miss.
Bye-bye.